Aloha world, aloha ohana. Jonah Martin Lion checking in here on this beautiful Sunday sunset time out here at the Dusty Banjo Ranch outside of Burning Man, Black Rock City, just outside of Gerlach, northern Nevada. Uh, Here's another edition of hopeformaui.org. Please go to hopeformaui.org. Checking out all of our series as this live stream has been an instrumental part of our connection with our community, our sharing of story upon what is transpired and taking place on Maui in regards to the fires in Lahaina, upcountry Olinda, Kula area, and how our community is responding, has responded, what we are doing in terms of the next stages and steps, and how this is being a beautiful catalyst in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of all of the tragedy and loss. There's hope, and that hope is in us. It's in every one of us. Hope and faith that we will rebuild, we will come back stronger, and this is part of the regenerative process. You know, that's a beautiful segue into today. I actually want to share while I got a little bit of time because I wanted to come online now so I can share this sunset that we're having. Oh no, like it's pretty epic right now out here. Just a vast amount of space, of sacred, protected, activated, conscious environment that we live in. And it's important for us to also be in that right relations with the space, with this land, with this aina, with this playa, and that's part of being in the circle. Which the circle is regenerative. There's no end, there's no beginning. It's simply limitless, eternal, and all inclusive. And so, in that sharing in this sunset time, today I shared yesterday that we'll be having a special guest who is working her way into the technology, indigenous technology that we're utilizing here, and I hope to see her soon. But Anna Allen, aka Naturalista, the godmother of regenerative infrastructure development, will be here with us shortly. We have been collaborating in this field as Jedi Masters for several years now, and working on new systems, regenerative systems that are built to be sustainable once they're up and running. This is something that we need to really look into and speak about is this regenerative, thriving. Speaking of beautiful timing, there she is. I was just introducing you, love. Welcome home. Welcome, everyone. Please welcome Sister Anna Allen, Anna Naturalista, the fairy godmother of regenerative infrastructure development here on Hope for Maui's live stream today. She's one of my beautiful sisters in Jedi Masters, and I love to do work with her, and she's here to share the many things that she is bringing to offer and her contributions and gifts to the world. So, welcome and aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you for sharing the sunset and where you are there now, and hope for Maui. Hello, aloha, beautiful Maui community. I'm so grateful to be able to share what I love to specialize in the most, which are supporting the solutionists of the world, the leaders and innovators. And through that, we have quite a powerful team around the world and are connected to many resources. And as you and I have been talking about, and that which can be most helpful for Maui and the highest priority and timeline and technology and developments. There's quite a lot in the last few years that has developed thanks to, again, the resourcefulness of so many leaders and innovators figuring out how to work together, a lot of these open source methods and creating and co-creating technology and bringing bits and pieces of different technologies together. That's how hydrogen energy has been able to advance so quickly as well, is we're better together. So yeah, that's definitely why we're here. Looking forward to contributing more.
Oh, yeah, right. There are so many innovative leaders out there, and it's an honor to be witnessing, participating, and experiencing all of the brilliance, and the deployment and the uh, implementation now, of a lot of these technologies. One of the things that I've discussed and shared, in envisioning and ideating around Maui, um, is in the diversification of the industry there, which is very much a point of reference and um, a place to look at, especially now, given our one of our main economic industry being tourism, being greatly affected by the fires, and the forceful nature, uh, pun intended in that, of needing to diversify, our economy, and innovation is, I would say, at the highest level of one of those departments, or one areas of diversification is innovation, and specifically in the realms of technology. And I look forward to that, because I think that with the indigenous and ancient uh, traditions that are still very much carried forth in the culture and the people of Hawaii, that will be able to indigenize the technology that we're speaking about. Yeah.
Beautifully, beautifully said. I love that the term indigenize. Absolutely. And yeah, we have affectionately called it regenithriving when communities and city systems are upgrading and implementing all of these really beautiful solutions that are based on ancient wisdom. That's what we also must keep our roots, really well grounded in, is that returning to the core principles of really localized economies and restoring those initial prosperity streams of what the community needs as form of abundance. Of course, we have the immediate needs, the food, water, shelter, security, all of that, that starts to have a lot of that immediate communal support and bonding, so that you can also create a more localized and quickly regenerative community model from that collaborative strategy. I feel this is an absolute opportunity for those who are wanting to really support it in that way, to implement some more local strategies and start to become more resourceful. Because from the last few years in working with you and the Aloha Council and many other island nations, for example, from Azores and Palau and Malta and many others, is that the common thread there is, and conversation is becoming less dependent on tourism as their main source of economic stability, and really focusing on the localized economy growth and seeing what regenerative streams of economic business people can create right now. And technology and innovation is part of optimizing, I feel, what is first and immediately most obvious and necessary, or the localized farms, and really getting the vegetation and the regenerative farming practices back in place, as again the indigenous always did, and as we should, right? And our children get to also learn from that and have a deeper education and connection with the land. That has been another polarized thing in our society that we are seeing a lot of people wanting to return to, and a lot of people leaving the cities to build community. Well, where you're living in Maui, you have a beautiful community to thrive in and really nurture as such a sacred island. And I'm so happy to see so much support. So having it be something that's really focused on the culture and the indigenous practices and what's going to empower the local community first, I feel is, well, if you can't tell, what I'm most passionate about as the starting point. You see the, oh wait, where's it? The 0 point here. How do we do this? Oh, it's kind of mirror image, fun. The 0 point here in our ether, that has to do with physics of finance. And finance, there it is spelled PHI, right? So that's in the belief systems, that's in our consciousness, that's in, you must support that which is wanted, and the common denominator in the 0 point of in the hearts of those who matter most, which are obviously the Maui natives and citizens and residents.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for, always returning it back there and being super present with, who we're supporting and where the direction needs to come from. We were speaking a little bit about this before, and I continue to reference back, is the need to tune in and listen to the both the elders and the youth, of the specific region that we're responding to, in this case Maui, and like that's where that intelligence, and that direction can really literally be the ancient future, right? It's like bringing in those old traditions that have been passed down from generation to generation, and the knowing of we're supporting in a role of being that bridge in between, our elders, our kapuna, and our youth, that are coming up and that are coming into the inheritance of this earth and the stewardship of it. And so, sharing our wisdom and our experience with um, grace, integrity, and accountability and transparency is super important, to like be able to acknowledge uh, the mistakes that have taken place, and to not be in a place of judgment or shame or being stuck in that, but rather to transmute that, learn from that experience, so that that can be the each one teach one, the kind of movement of growth into this the new paradigm that is so inclusive of valuing all life, and regenerating, right? Once again, is looking at the circle, the phi, and how things are move in that way. It's cyclical. It's the feminine, the right side of hemisphere of the brain, not so analytical or masculine, straight, um, and to the point. Sometimes not knowing what the point is, you know. That's why you check in. That's why you got to check in with mama first. Be like, mama, what is this the right thing to do here? And so thank you for always steering us correct.
It's always back to the heart. It's always back to the center. It's always back to what matters most, right? And it's beautiful to have been trained by so many elders and amazing indigenous tribes my entire life, and different spiritual belief systems and all of that, and in the 12 steps of peace and the practices of the Hopi water clan and many others in the Lakota tribe and all. This has been a part of my harmonious negotiation practices. And that is, again, finding the 0 point. And it always comes back to the law of love. The law of love in leadership, the law of love in decision making and discernment and prioritizing and communication and negotiation, all of it. And in the most intense of conflict and corporate heated battles or communication trauma, it's the sweetest thing, those moments when the fierce mama in me, the fire dragon comes out, and I stand in, and I have to stand in my power and strength, and sometimes claim and scream at the top of my voice. Who here has a mother? Who here has a child? Who here cares about this mission and bring it back to what matters? Why do we care? Why do we love? Why are we here? Why are we sad? Why are we happy? Why are we triggered? And these last few years have been such a powerful reminder. And, I call it, what will it take to trigger you awake? What does it take to make you feel enough that it knocks you back into a center of communion, of community is come in unity? Does it have to really keep on taking traumatic, dramatic events for us to come together? Family? Really? No, we can come together. We got the memo, right? Did we get the memo? This is when we are drawn together the most. And so in that again, the conversation of love, this is the love mission, this is the healing mission, this is what do we love and want to create in our future for Maui, right? And that's another thing too, is it letting things happen, being complacent, being of non-action, has its consequences, meaning that you're not going to get the vision that you want if you're not a part of the creation of it, right? That's the best way to predict your future, is to make it, to be a part of it. And so now, in the strategic collaboration and weaving of all of the solutionists and the funds and the beautiful donations and offerings and time and volunteers, now we really get to see how those systems come together from the 0 point of what Maui wants. From the heart of Maui is a heart chakra, right? Of islands and this whole area and planet part of the world. So what does the heart of Maui actually want? And you being there and so connected to the community, maybe we can speak on that, because I feel there's also a misrepresentation going on about the type of funding philanthropy that is being um, implemented, that is, or more so enforced, that may not be actually wanted. So how about we talk about and represent and or ask or bring up to the Aloha Council and others there that are the decision makers in the heart of Maui, what do they want, and how does this cultural integration really honor the indigenous and that which also helps to weave and integrate modern society and technology? Where is the indigenized balance of that?
Yeah, that is the question right now, and it's come up multiple times today in some really powerful ways for me. There's quite a bit of a movement of um, was the a treaty between the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. Uh, there's a cycle, a 7-year cycle that is coming up right now in
Mhm.
how things move, and there's definitely a reappearing or a reenactment and a reestablishing around what you just hit on, which is the native or indigenous uh, direction, what the culture that's already been established it wants, and the inclusion of recognizing that culture has changed because of the migratory patterns of humans at this point too, and so when looking at it, when I speak to like elders on Maui and have sat with them, the most brilliant ones that we really tune into, and I love their stances when they look at Hawaiian. They look at it from a standpoint of this is where we are. It's the place that we are presently residing and occupying. Right? So that makes us that gives us a sense of nationality, but not from um, a looking at it from a divisive or polarizing perspective, but rather to look at it as this is my home right now. People ask me, like, for Maui, for instance, I've lived there for 5 years, but it's my home. This is where my family is. My daughter, my partner, my ohana, my extended family, my friends. This is where I live, and so in that I would do everything within my power to be of service to protect and serve my community, of Maui. And so when returning back to Maui, is it's a point that I will be making is a play is to connect with the leaders, who running campaign Aloha as mayor of Maui during that time. I've established beautiful connections and relationships with the leaders upon the island, and asking those questions, and saying like, what is the direction right now? Because there is a lot of play and evidence pointing of foul play, is what I would call it, in this experience of what other people's agendas are to do with the land that needs to be rebuilt, and that development piece of it, like coming back to the regenerating, the pieces around our greatest ancestors and our environment, our soil and our water and our air and our ecosystem, our that environment, that needs to have such great care, and the indigenous people know how best to resolve that and to mitigate those things and to bring it back into symbiosis and into harmony, and let's start there first and foremost, and yes, let's include, okay, what are the ideas of modernization, of technology that wants to come to Maui, and how again can we indigenize that, through this process of rebuild, recreation.
Well, that's exactly what the Regena Thrive model is based on, and that's of course, as I've been sharing with you, with every element that we have in nature, the elements of creation itself. We've related that to all the industries and solutions that are now available, and this is one of my favorite topics to share about is the brilliance of other people. These solutionists around the planet are not hiding, right? They are thriving, and there's a whole nother reality that that I get to live in with all of these other amazing people that isn't on public news or being shared so widely just yet. Just yet, there's a media play on that coming pretty soon, and this is again, these opportunities of being of service and helping Maui and giving the options for regenerative construction materials and uh, beautiful architectural 3D renderings and design that can be very, very efficiently and much more quickly created nowadays than ever before. And, for example, hempcrete, like growing hemp on the soil in Maui will help to regenerate the land, especially after the sugar plantations and all of the glyphosatism and other chemicals that hemp will help to really regenerate the microbial health there. So again, we're starting with the soil, right? And then we go back to utilizing that for a construction material. And there's even more. I shared with you some of the other construction materials that are fireproof, hurricane proof, earthquake proof. Like it just basically, have those again printed and ready very, very quickly. So the resources, the solutions are available for us to have that which is in, I mean, just write your wish list, of these brilliant inventions and inventors, and the teams also, right? We have these collaborative multimedia teams, I mean, mediums of the mediums of different platforms that we can merge and connect and work and co-create with each other with. The solutions are happening fast. So it's really an exciting time on that front. And I know, while I'm still well, I'm now honoring and really focusing on the healing and the love that everyone needs on Maui. I also get really excited about the regenerative and how beautiful the vision of their dream come true reality of that weaved integration of the cultural roots and the ancestors' true knowledge of Maui and their love and care, all the way through to what can be efficient and really, modern. I mean, everybody loves to have things that are convenient and efficient and all of that. So great, there's got to be a balance, and here's an opportunity to create that, I feel.
Yeah, so true, right? It's so true. And thank you for referencing all those points as they've been pinging around in my consciousness too, from the uh, sustainable materials that are just part of is natural. They grow specifically really well on Maui. For example, hemp. I got up this morning and that was one of the first messages that I received was you know a some information on hemp and how cannabis was bastardized and that whole directive that took place. And so there's so many opportunities through this process, from, as you said, the mediums and the many dimensions that we get to rebuild, that we get to uh, bring light to, so that again we can learn from our mistakes, learn from what's taken place in our legislation, our laws are that we've set place throughout the time that haven't allowed for a lot of these innovations and these technologies to come forth. And now we're moving through those lines now. We're moving past those boundaries and being able to reclaim the truth of uh, what we've had all along for many moons now, to live in right relations with our environment. It's our natural order as human beings, our human nature, to be in alignment. And so when we sit with each other and sit in circles and collaborate in this way, you know we're we can come back to those because we're inviting not only that intelligence to come through and be channels for that, but we're also including our ancestors into that conversation. We're including these elements, we're including these directions, we're including these uh, these traditional esoteric energies to support our choosing and support our decisions, in the process of regenerating, of recreating things. Everything's already been created for us as humans. We're just recreating things. And so when we're in alignment with the natural order and universal laws, then what we create will also be in that be in order. I think it's part of our work here is innovators in chaos, and finding some level of order within it. Yeah, in this dark that I'm now in right now.
Must say, you were kind of looking like a little alien head, or big alien head, actually, there for a bit. It's pretty cool.
uh, Gotta love it. It's like the going live, you know. Look at this skyline
Oh,
now. It's just,
wow. That's your view. Glorious.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. One other thing I'd love to share or open up in conversation with you is something that I've noticed in being a support and fairy godmother and see the big wings there, the big wings for many many years, at least gosh over 30 years now of doing um, disaster relief work and trauma relief and helping with that. That now also the benefit of technology is the access to virtual healing. So that's
Mm.
something else. We have an agent, Regina Thrive agent there in Maui as well, who is a powerful healer. She's been helping out as much as possible. Wingtips up, boots on the ground, and there's also I feel a big need for the emotional, the therapeutic support, the grief and loss and transition support, and all of that. Is that true? Is that something that is still something that we can support with, or how are you receiving information on that front?
Yeah. Thank you for that right there. That's something to really speak on in this, and we've been bringing that up, and it needs to be brought up every time because uh, there's so much trauma from to be experienced from a fire like this. Our one of the most populated areas residentially, especially of Maui. To go blaze, the amount of loss of life, still taking inventory on that to this day. So like you can't even kind of start the healing process in its wholeness until having to account for what we're healing. Um, so it's going to be a long process, just like the rebuilding, the healing is there. And when looking at this fire and starting to peer into like potential causes and what took place, and people want to find that cause, and discover that, and that continues to keep the wound open. um, and we're I know that there's a lot of that since, and I've been gone for a month myself, so I can feel it from afar. I've talked to quite a few um, family and friends that are on island, and they're burnt right now. Literally like tired people, that those that are around, where we need the support, on all of these modalities. The healing is the mental health support, the emotional health support, um, the somatic health support, because we know like people are went through that with their bodies. There's that information stored in their bodies right now of like, jumping into the ocean as the fires roll and ravish their homeland, and it's like, and they're sitting in the ocean on the harbor, like watching, you know, their businesses and their and
Even
people burn. Like it's real, it's a war zone. And so like, this is coming back to that unity and that communion, to be in communion with one another right now. To be in community is so important, and like looking at the even the food, water, and shelter, right, as those basic necessities being met, there is that need also for that sense of community in those base necessities. If without the dance, the music, the art, the activity, the play, those pieces are needed. And so there's so many ways to uplift Maui right now, in this. That it's not just the physical architecture that needs to be rebuilt and supported,
well,
but it's the internal architecture. It's like coming back to that heart space, and just you know sharing like, hey, we're here for you, and that's what I love about even this name, Hope for Maui. It's like there's hope, and we're all uh, the embodiment, of beings, the people here to give Maui hope, and we can rebuild with that, and the faith and the family and the freedom. So thank you for sharing that. You have boots and wingtips on the ground already there, and we have an army coming to Maui right now. As to say, there's God's army to come and support, and it's for us as humanity too, because I feel that this will be an instrumental beacon of light as we rebuild here. We're rebuilding the heart, and where that frequency can emit and impact and have a ripple effect upon the world, and really spearhead and initiate a movement of peace, love, unity, and sovereignty on this world. I hope
Yeah,
that
I
makes
love
sense.
that you're bringing a love army from the playa to to Maui. That's really, putting your putting your action where your party is. It's like, yes, you can celebrate and be, enjoying the arts and community and all of that, and really honor and celebrate. And let's get to work, right? Like, here's where you can then direct all of that inspiring energy and all of that really, yeah, beautiful and incentivized collective consciousness now has a directional focal point. So I'm glad you, as I like to say, you're a unicorn wrangler out there.
Oh, right. It's a lot of wrangling, to get these unicorns all to show up, for the gathering, for the work and the in between. And it's beautiful to see how many people, of our Burning Man community, really, rising to support, and what you just brought up too, many people have a connection to Maui. Very influential, impactful people in the world have a connection. I mean, you brought up the soil ecology. I mean, Woody Harrelson lives on Maui and did a documentary called "Kiss the Ground," to speak about soil. And we have uh, the amount of wealth that resides on Maui would be able to um, finance, spell with a PH too, and that would be able to finance, every bit of the this process of rebuilding that's needed. And
Mhm.
that's an opportunity to also bring together the uh, those that have are now who call Maui home and have moved there because of the beauty, because of the paradise, because of the heaven that it is, and those that have been there for a long, long time and generations, and the indigenous and the, native people there, to merge that, and to bring those communities together. And the Spire has done that in many ways. That those divisive places of like, oh, I'm Kanaka or I'm not, or I'm Hawaiian or I'm not, or I'm Haole or whatever the like, stereotype or identity, wanting to be placed there has been dissolved, and it comes back into what Kanaka is human. Just pure humans having this human experience together, and we get to rebuild the village together because it's all one family. And this is the opportunity to show that, and that brings the world together by seeing that it's possible, for us to live together in harmony.
Absolutely. And in harmony with nature and all our relations. And that's such a beautiful example of getting to a zero point, getting to realizing we are all human here. What is the common denominator? What do we all know in our hearts that matters about being human and being that we're all that, and that all our relations in nature include the animals and the plants and the trees. I mean, that was something else that came up in one of our community leadership conversations with communities in Europe. They were they were not most of us, most concerned about the people and the children, and also the trees. What were the sacred trees, the elder trees that were possibly burned or destroyed there? Because Maui's known for a lot of very powerful and sacred trees and forests, and of course the bamboo forest there. And yeah, that's part of being all one tribe of what I call Earthitarian, right? We're all on this planet. There is no polarizing being, that we share this one beautiful living being in the universe. So those that can really step out of the polarized mindset and focus more on the zero point mindset, on the love center mindset, on what matters in everyone's greatest good, is well, that's heart wisdom. That's a heart set, and as it turns out with heart math, doing the studies and many others that have shown that we actually have more brain cells in our heart muscle and heart center than we do in our actual cabeza, in our actual brain or cranium, right? So that's an interesting phenomenon, is really we do lead with our heart wisdom, and that which is our intuitive knowing, which again is the human instinct. It's our divine nature. It's knowing what's the right thing to do versus the righteous thing to do, right? Which is through and as me for the highest good of all. That's why I heard stories of many people that were grabbing other people's children and making a run for the water, because they knew that somebody had to make sure that they got picked up, right? And that's the act of community. That's when family takes action to take care of each other. And it's just so amazing that, again, there's such a collective support of everyone in Maui, and now a lot of the external family and everyone who's had a loving touch point with Maui, and even now even tribes and groups of people coming in bigger support. I feel that's that's a relief for sure. Just knowing how much love is being poured in.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Uh, well, thank you so much for your Maui Rapid Response. Was like a little drop in, one of our organizations that rose out of those ashes to be a um, support community support distribution supply line, uh, and they're still fully active. We had so many organizations that just literally like came out of that, like the Phoenix, um, you know, Hungry Heroes Hawaii, the Aloha Response Team, um, Hope for Maui, Jedi Alliance, uh, and just there's it was like you said, a a unified um, a unified front of connection, of bringing back, coming in into our humanity, and when we're under these stressful kind of situations like these disasters, right? It's like it's interesting how we refer to them as natural disasters. It's like sometimes nature gives us these things to um, our bring us back into alignment, and to recognizing the power of life, and uh, the fragileness of it, so that we may like really live it to its fullest, and that's one of the things I think that I saw and just greatly appreciated was how many people from all around, similar to other, how disasters when they strike, how people from all around the world respond, and how it brings us together. And we're, at this time, it's kind of like we have a lot of worldwide planetary disasters, if you will, happening simultaneously, which is a directive for us to come together at that same level of planetary, what did you call them? Earth,
Earthitarians.
Earth, Earthitarians. Yeah, Captain Planet, right? Like the Earthitarians. All these things that have been teaching us throughout times too is carrying the stories that are our origin, of our origin.
Right. Well, and it's the high level, confident, positive story of our conscious ascension on this side of the rainbow of storytelling. On the other side, in the polarity side of the storytelling, it's pretty disastrous, So that's another part of in creating our future is really focusing on what stories do we want to tell, what stories do we want to create here? Because that starts with every choice that we make every day, every dollar is a vote to our future. So that's where support, that's where choices really matter. So thank you for sharing this time and space. I can only see one eye of you in the shadow here.
It's the one eye that's winking at you right now. So so
One
much
eye
gratitude.
Jedi.
Hey.
That was a pirate, but no.
I do have my handkerchief on, so it could very well have
I
some
know.
pirate action happening.
That's the pirate. Um,
Well, so much gratitude, so much aloha. Thank you very much for joining our live stream this evening, and it's always a pleasure to sit with you and to talk story. Her story and his story. It's like
oh,
it's about the story and the narrative and creating for us. Co-creating. So in this time, as you said, stay positive, everyone. Keep your hope. Yeah, keep your hopes up. Uh, this Jedi vibe, right? It's like, what is it? The Last Hope was one of the movies in the sagas. The Star Wars trilogy. So it's kind of like where we're at right now. It's just like there's this stance that's happening, and I intend fully on returning to Maui is to assemble the Lions, and assemble our community there to stand because we need to hold ground of this sacred land right now, and make sure that in this time period and time frame of the next 5 to 10 years that we're not rushing into anything, um, and moving forward too rapidly and to where we could end up again making similar mistakes. We do not want to rebuild the same way that put us, that got us into this mess, to begin with. Yeah, so it's like let's uh, let's do it with the yeah
yeah.
the ancient future wisdom, the mystical way.
Absolutely. And these are the opportune moments. They're opportune moments and they're defining moments of rewriting those stories and scripts, right? This is exactly when policies can be upgraded, when new laws and legalities and rules of building codes can be rewritten and all of that. This is where we really, really are, it's a call out to rise up for those who do have the thought and the brilliance and the expertise to create those new codes and systems and laws. So that I feel is really going to come from the internal leadership of the local community there. And I know that you're a strong pillar of that. So mahalo for taking such a beautiful stand in leadership and authority and in love for Maui and Maui's family.
Mahalo Kekua. Mahalo to you. Thank you for joining us. All right, y'all. That was Jedi Sister Anna Naturalista, the fairy godmother of regenerative uh, infrastructure
Infrastructure.
development. You know, right? The infra, the inner and the outer, but the structure. So thank you all so much. It's back there. You can always reach out. To me through this line of hopeformaui.org. If there's any interest also in the Regenerative Thrive movement platforms, anything of that nature, I can also connect you uh, to that. And we will be back on in the future. So, y'all take care. Have a wonderful night. Much aloha. And peace, love, unity, sovereignty. Hope.
Infinite aloha and love to you all. Thank you. Bye for now.
Adios.